First thing, don't be too hard on yourself. Have it as a goal that you will achieve regardless of how you get there or how long it takes. So don't pressurize yourself. Be kind, but do set boundaries and parameters to work within. So for me, that looked like, I seem to be taking 2 of these 5-HTP tablets and there's a score right in the middle. Well, I was like, maybe I could just take 1.5 instead. And then I set that as like a thing. Like, I don't deviate from it. I just take that and then that's that. And if it doesn't work the way it usually does, I need to make adjustments the next day to help lower my stress levels and increase my serotonin levels. And it sounds really simple, but the emotional side of it can be a little bit rough. Like when you're getting like 4 or 5 hours sleep, or maybe it's not consistent sleep, you're waking up in the middle of the night, and it can be kind of rough going in the beginning. And sometimes I found that I would just take the 2 and I was like, oh, then I'd be disappointed with myself. And oddly, the disappointment really helped because it helped keep me on track. And that's one of the ways that I started. And it was the same with melatonin. I was like, do I really need this? And I started looking into what it was that I was probably having a problem with. And it's never just one thing, let's be honest. And I've spoken about this in the previous video. It's like dopamine, adrenaline, cortisol, like all the things that like there are too much of. And recently I needed like the smallest amount of 5-HTP to get to sleep, and I needed electrolytes again to get to sleep. And I'm like, this is not what I'm usually like. Like, I have been away from 5-HTP for over a year, and electrolyte for like probably about 9 months. I was like, what's going on? And I was like, it's coming into summer. Your dopamine levels are probably going to be higher simply because of the sunshine. I was like, you probably have more of those things in your system just because of the seasonal change. I was like, and you have been like really consistent with your nutrition and your diet. I was like, and you've been lifting really consistently, and you've just been able to increase the weight you can lift. I was like, you might not need quite as much like additional like supplementation for nutrition, like from your multivitamin. And I was like, what? Like, too much of a good thing. And I had to take 5-HTP, albeit like the tiniest little bit, like it was like half a pill, I think. Maybe like 1 for like 2 to 3 days, and then like last night I didn't need it. And I didn't need the electrolytes. And I was like, you probably need to change your diet a little bit in the meantime. I was like, down your meat content, because like meat is gonna give you plenty of energy, and you've probably already got it and you didn't realize that you've got it, or you did realize it and you were like, this is great, I'm gonna keep doing it. And you didn't need to because it was still rising. And I think that's what happened, is that I thought it was probably just going to stay at that level and I'd have to wait longer for another increase in energy. No, that was not the case. And then it became too much. So one of the ways that you can basically wean away from 5-HTP and melatonin is to massively learn about how your body works. All hormones involved, nutrition, things like that. Literally, something a multivitamin, like too much of a multivitamin, and lifting is what pushed me towards needing 5-HTP again. And I'm like, okay, that is the way it is. And yeah, I could, try to like get more serotonin from like all these other things, but I swear all the things I love give me dopamine. It feels like a double-edged sword. It really does. I'm like, I love playing music. Also, dopamine in my ears. And I love exercising. Like, yeah, I achieved a workout, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's dopamine again. And I find it really difficult to get that like balance. So at points, I'm just like, yeah, I think you just need to like change your nutrition. You probably just need to eat a little bit less meat. And I've got to be honest with you, like this morning, I've just done a workout. And yeah, like it was actually more difficult because I don't have the same level of nutrition. But I did sleep better, and I'm like, well, maybe the answer isn't like shoveling like pills and stuff into your face. I was like, maybe the answer is to just like change your diet. so you can get better sleep. I was like, and you will continue to get health improvements. I was like, you can lift more now than you could when you were heavier. And I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's not about just like getting more nutrition into your face constantly. Where's the sunshine gone? It's disappeared. It's really dark. And that's what I just realized in the last 3 days, is that you can get too much of a good thing and all of a sudden you've got loads of energy and it's probably adrenaline and dopamine and you're just like, yay! And I'm like, oh no, I can't sleep now. And I need like electrolytes and 5-HTP for the first time in a really long time. And I was like, no, this isn't right. And sometimes you can just get too much of a good thing. So if you're trying to wean away from 5-HTP and melatonin, you need to be learning about dopamine, adrenaline, and how you're getting those things in your life. Like dopamine is the thing that you're looking at right now, like a screen. Like that could be too much of a good thing. It could be like what I've experienced recently, which is I'm guessing some sort of like nutritional boost, and then again too much dopamine and adrenaline through that. Something else I've experienced in the past is lifting too heavy too soon. So making the step up to the next weight up too soon without like adequate stress relief, adequate nutrition, like all of those things, and all of a sudden I can't sleep. I'm like, melatonin, 5-HTP. And that's one of the ways that you can wean away and just be really, really kind with yourself. Don't set like an end goal like, oh, in 6 months' time, like I won't be doing this, like I won't be on these things, like I won't need them. That's like the worst thing that I think that you could do. In my experience, it needs to be really, really easy. Just like increasing the weight needs to be really easy. It needs to be like really boring. And at points, if you're waking up and you're like really, really tired, and then you're really, really tired throughout the day, and you get bored of it, guess what? That's time to like remove some of the 5-HTP and melatonin, because those things generally, from what I've read, they can make you feel kind of groggy in the morning. And for most people who are using them, like me in the past, that grogginess is like kicked to one side with a nice big cup of coffee. As you get healthier and you start to move away from them, you start to get more of an effect from the other things you're doing in your life, and you stop needing them as much. And the effect in the daytime can be like, I feel like a zombie. And you're just like, what is that? Why do I feel like a zombie? The coffee isn't working. And it's time to like lower the amount again and then do it all over again, the whole process. And then as you get towards like the 0 point, if you're struggling to go from like the tiniest amount of 5-HTP and melatonin to like 0, that might be where you need nutrition to kick in. So for me, nutrition kicking in looked like a little bit of vitamin D, some vitamin C, and making sure my iron levels were well regulated, because iron also contributes to serotonin as well as dopamine. And making sure that I eat a relatively healthy and well-balanced diet. That doesn't mean I don't eat cookies, okay? Like, I eat cookies. I ate cookies like over the last 3 days. It just means that I'm not like fueling up on coffee, like in the morning, like 3 cups of coffee with like 5 million sugars, being like, oh, I feel so rubbish. Or like not exercising, or like not going outside, or not going for walks, or not socializing. Just being like a sad little hermit crab. Like, don't be a sad little hermit crab, okay? Like, and then do all the other stuff, and then you're just like, oh, it's so overwhelming. Tiny little steps is where it's at. But basically what I've just discussed there, like that's how you can start to wean away from 5-HTP and melatonin. That was my experience anyway. If you've got any questions, drop them. Bye.